on today's cunning will it starty worky fixy plan. W124 300 TD, not turbo diesel, 300 diesel, straight D, T, estate. So basically, LReg 1994, one of the, let me hold my microphone a minute because it's a bit windy out here, one of the last of them, facelift, body cappings, given away as a diesel by this grill in the wing here. Monoblock alloys, not originals, I would have said. Noisy barking dog. Sport line, quite a nice thing. Now this one is a bit different. So originally this would have been a 603 non-turbo automatic. If I open this here bonnet like this, anyone that knows what they're looking at might recognise that. So that is a 606 out of W210 E-Class. 3 litre, 24 valve turbo diesel. The tunable one, or one of the tunable ones, let's be honest. Still wearing its original EDC Bosch electronically controlled pump with some exciting electromedical something unit up in the top corner up there controlling it. Has a throttle potentiometer over there, which I'm sure you can see with the throttle cable joined to it. And behind it is what I would assume to be a 7226 auto box, 7-speed automatic. 6-speed, 7-speed, could be either, won't worry about that for a minute. Controlled by one of them posh off-tech gearbox controllers, obviously, because this engine and gearbox should not be in this car. So, it's a customer's. It sort of landed here last year, slightly unwanted, because we was a bit busy and I didn't really have time. But it's sort of half done, so it's got a big front-mounted intercooler on it. It's got some sort of exciting stainless steel exhaust, still running its standard turbo, and most of the electronics are in here, but it has some sort of issues where it doesn't start, and when you try and start it, it draws more air through the fuel lines than you've ever seen in your life. So we did have a bit of a fiddle with it last year, and we reckon we've sort of narrowed it down to a Norse lift pump. So I knew I had a lift pump somewhere, but I couldn't find it for 7 months. But anyway, 3 days ago, I found it somewhere, put it in a safe place, lost it again, found it again this morning. So what we're going to do now is quickly whips the lift pump on it. We have thrown a battery on it. I have managed to find the keys, and then we're going to attempt to see if it cracks off. And then if that cures the starting problem, we'll work on the rest of getting it roadworthy, attached properly, boosty stuff put together, working nice car type of thing. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Right, so as you would have seen a second ago, I've just swapped the lift pump over, checked all the rubber seals on the little pipes that go in, because they're famous for pulling air as well. And we've had a quick scrutiny just to check there's no foreign bodies left in it. They have been covered, and the manifold had actually been sort of sat on top of it, and was sat on top of it when it got here. So we know it's got oil. We've chucked a battery on it with a bit of backup from a battery pack, and what we're going to attempt to do now is jar on it a bit and see if it turns over. And we've also got some random stuff to attend to, because it's a bit of what's that doing in there? So basically someone had decided to silicone the exhaust the inlet manifold gasket on. That's a crap idea, they're metal. We'll just get a new one of those when it comes to it, and we sort of clean this off, but once it gets going. So basically I'll whiz it over now and see if it's going to draw fuel, because we got like a little fuel heater in here, obviously your fuel filter here, and then you ran your pipes down to your lift pump, pipes back up from your lift pump, and then obviously it's plumbed into your pump. So it might take a little bit of wanging over to get some fuel up, if it's even going to drag fuel and not drag loads of air. One way to find out. And I'm doing it from this side because I'm too fat to get in the other side. Right. No, the battery's rubbish, isn't it? Right. We are going to need a better battery. better battery, because that's poop. Right, so here goes. We have got a noisy Sprinter hooked on here for a bit of extra juiciness. This battery is not the best, so crank on it. It appears to be sucking and pushing fuel, so we stand a chance. I think we're still drawing loads of air, aren't we? Yeah, let's hop back out of here again a minute. Oh, blimey. It's got to be coming out the tank then, isn't it? Can't really be doing anything else. Perhaps we better try plumbing it to a can. Right, so we've reinstalled just a plastic can for a minute. There's obviously something not right between those two fuel lines down there and the tank in the back of this. So the only way of sorting that is to get it in up on a ramp and have the tank out of it and have a look and just see what someone's done. So it should hopefully, possibly, run again because it's just about to run out of fuel off this can, and then we can move it. I do. Don't worry, they do that puffy thing when they haven't been started for ages. Shut doing that up in a minute. Well, it looks like after the addition of diesel and some moving of the car, we may have found the problem. It would appear that these fuel lines here are just horrific. I mean, I don't quite know what's happened to that, but she's definitely dead. So I think that may be our sort of what the Americans call it, crank no start problem. The fact that we seem to have an awfully large amount of fuel leaping out of this fuel supply line here, not making it to the front of the car. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change on these fuel lines, put something on there to make it work, plumb it back up to the tank and see if it starts. And it's all covered in black nasty. Why do people do it? Horrible stuff. I hate black nasty. Doesn't work, doesn't just ruins things. Oh, and it's rusty as well. Right, joys. Right, so we just quickly chucked to make a bit of fuel line in the back. I'm going to order some proper line up, and I think I'm going to go through and change on the lot because the ones here are rubbish. What will be interesting to see now, if I can get it to give my My fuel line back. There we are, look at that. As to whether it'll run off of its own fuel supply. So we'll quickly run these two fuel lines back up. Need to be somewhere sensible. Back on the return. Chamber on there. Oh, top quality. No, nice bit of copper pipe with no ferrule on the end of it. Always good. Right, so hopefully the battery's good enough. What I'm doing now is it's a brum. And then let it sit here and stop coughing out of number one and blowing smoke. So it's a bit of a 606 thing that. They seem to like dropping scabby lumps of carbon in the cylinder and then slightly jamming the valve open. But, we had checked it wasn't foreign bodies first. Right, let's go and turn the key and see what happens, I suppose. So that's got this thing to a point where it sort of starts and runs. I've ordered some fuel lines because I think we might as well do some new ones. And obviously we have a few other issues. There are some rusty holes, we'll get to them. We have an off-tech gear controller that doesn't seem to light up, so that probably means that that's not working. But then to be honest, 124s let them sit, the fuses go all a bit funky, so hopefully that'll be fairly simple to sort. And the tyres are all dry rotted, and it's obviously going to need the inlet manifold putting back on, some new gaskets, and a bit of a sort of a tune-up and a jolly over to make sure she's cherry. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here today. Sorry it's a bit short, and sorry I didn't get one on Wednesday, but we did bury the boy finally on Monday, God rest his soul, so that's all done, and then by the time Monday had a day off, run over into Tuesday, it just wasn't happening. So thank you very much, Al, 16 days.